Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nasir, and what do we have on tap for you today? Well, it's a reaction video, folks, to a video clip of the Politicon debate between Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks and Dinesh D'Souza. So we're going to get to all that in the next few seconds, folks. It's part one of this debate. It was pretty long. We're going to chop it up into little bits here. But if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Folks, put your comments down below. Let's see what happens when we have Cenk Uygur versus Dinesh D'Souza. Let's go to part one right now.
We chatted a bit before backstage, and we're going to run through a range of topics, but, I got to say something off the cuff here. Y'all had a bit of a spat on Twitter before this, and I just want to say what's been said here just to bring everyone up to speed. So Dinesh earlier said, "Watch me set up a boot shop in Cenk Uygur's rear and live this Sunday." And in response, Cenk said, "Wrong, I'll be bringing the TYT army, and I know you've been in prison, but please stop obsessing about my ass." All right, now that we've...
Because in the video, he said that I was going to bring a knife to a gunfight. I brought you guys instead.
All right, so that opening salvo, I have to admit, Cenk did get the better shot, at Dinesh, basically saying, "I'm going to put a boot shop up your rear." And Cenk answered with the retort, "You know what? I know you've been in jail, stop obsessing about my ass." So point well scored there for Cenk the Jenk.
He's really going to need you.
All right.
It's nice to have fans.
All right,
Point
well,
two.
let's kick things off here. One of the interesting things about both of your backgrounds is that you're actually both immigrants to this country. Dinesh, you immigrated here from India, our shared motherland, and Cenk, you immigrated here from Turkey. So maybe I'll kick it off to you first, Dinesh. Tell me more about the immigration story coming here to the United States and how that has shaped your views on politics and policy.
Well, I came to the United States at the age of 17 in the late 1970s. India, in that time, was a country that had been really governed by socialists since independence. And it was a country where there was almost no opportunity for young people. Everybody I knew was fleeing the country, was going away, going to sea, going to the Middle East, coming to America. And it was a country that was rife with political corruption, corruption that actually made its way into everyday life. So you couldn't actually go through the day without feeling dirty. You're always paying bribes. You're always doing things under the table. And to me, coming to America, I came just to see what it was like. I came as an exchange student on a one-year Rotary scholarship. But I realized when I got here that I had sort of moved from the margin of the world to the center. I realized that even though I had $500 in my pocket, I couldn't afford to eat at McDonald's. Even though I was, in a sense, by myself, my family stayed back in India, I realized that if I stayed in America, I could do things with my life that I would never be able to do if I stayed home. And it wasn't just that I would have economic opportunity. It is true that I looked around America and I noticed that in this country, even the ordinary guy has a really good life. I don't even mean the really smart guy or the really hardworking guy. I mean the not so smart guy and the lazy guy. Still has 2 cars and a nice house and indoor plumbing and central air and all kinds of amenities and 14 types of cheese. And so I realized that a country is judged by the kind of life it gives to the common man. The rich guy lives well anywhere. Rich people live very well in India. But what I was looking for is a country that offers that ladder of opportunity up which from a guy at the bottom could start to climb through industry and hard work, creativity. And I also was looking for a country where you could write the script of your own life. So today I'm doing things in media, in writing, speaking, making movies. There's no way I could do any of this in India. So to me, America is a country where you're in the driver's seat of your own future. And that to me is the reason why the American idea is so magnetic. We have an immigration problem because we pull people from all over the world. And I think that I'm representative of the aspirations of not only the hundreds of millions of people who've come over the centuries to America, from the Irish, the Italians, the Jews, but today, the Koreans, the West Indies, the Pakistanis, we come to this country for the same reason, and that is that America offers something unavailable in the rest of the world.
You know, I couldn't have said that any better than Dinesh. And he espoused basically the reasons, obviously, why he came here and then decided to stay here and saw for himself the greatness, the opportunities that could be had. So he saw that firsthand, but he also was sort of, wanting something like that, as he said, what was happening back in India when he was in his teenage years, right? My father, same thing, from Pakistan, early age. Like, I think he was like 20, 21 years old. My mom at that time, my dad, mom, married. My mom was, I think, 16, 17 years old, and they got married. My dad was like 19 or 20 when he got married. Within a year, decides to come to the United States of America, to the University of Minnesota, to pursue his engineering degree on a scholarship. That was a different time, folks. And my mom came almost about 4, 5, 6 months later. We're second generation American over here. So, and same thing. Dad came here for education, opportunity. And now, you know what? I've got kids. You're talking a legacy, basically. The immigration story started when parents decided to vote with their feet and come over to the greatest country that's ever been put on this planet. Anyways, let's continue and see what Cenk's opening remarks are.
So you're right. Our stories start out very similar. I came to the country when I was 8. The reason I was able to do that is that my dad was a small olive farmer in southeastern Turkey, and he got a chance to get a free education. And it made all the difference. And so I was also a Republican when I was younger, and then I realized how the world actually works. And so what I want, where we began to diverge is, I saw that equality of opportunity that my dad had, and I loved it, and I saw that in America, and that's why we chose to be American. So me being an American is not an accident of birth. It's not, hey, I happen to be born in a particular state. No, we're born outside the country. I came here. I love this country. I want to defend the ideas and the ideals that it stands for. But for me, unlike the conservatives, it's not, hey, everything we've done is fantastic, including the wars and the colonialism and the slavery and the what we did to the Native Americans, and all these things are wonderful because we did it. We're Americans. No, the idea is, hey, the equality of opportunity, liberty, the American dream. This is what we love America for. Let's live up to those ideals.
Why is it that every single freaking time when you talk about, it's like you talk about this country, but they always go back to like the sins of the past. And I'm talking, the ones that are hundreds of years old, right? Colonialism. Do you want to talk about, okay, well, you were what, 7, 8, 9 years old when you left Turkey, Cenk the Cenk? You want to talk about colonialism with Turkey? You want to talk about the sins of Turkey? Every freaking country has got its sins. Every freaking country has got its dark periods. They all do. So, you're going to keep going back to that same well? Well, you know what? That water is pretty much used up. That's all I can say. That water is pretty much used up. And you know what? It's just not working anymore. But you guys keep bringing it up because you have nothing better to. We want to live up to the ideals of this. Everybody wants to live up to the ideals of the country, man. Everybody wants to live up to their own ideals. You want to live up to ideals. Your parents want you to live up to their ideals. I mean, it's, you're different cultures. They want you to live. They want everyone to live up to their ideals. Different nationality here, they want to live up to their ideals. Everybody wants to live up to your ideal. You want to be in a certain profession, you want to live up to those ideals. You want to be a doctor, live up to the ideals of being a doctor. You want to live up to be an attorney, live up to be, well, I don't know about attorneys or whatever. I'm just kidding. But you know what? Everything's out there. You want to live up to the ideals of what it is that you're pursuing. I mean, come on, folks. I mean, this is unbelievable over here. But it's always that way. Did you notice that, the difference? He comes out positive. I mean, that's what you want to stress, the positive. Immediately, Cenk goes right to the dark, the negative, and then comes up and talks about, the ideals or whatever. So I don't know if there was a winner or loser here. Everybody's presenting their own case in terms of what they feel about this country and why they came over here and what was the background of them, coming here to the United States of America. Anyways, let's continue.
And so, I was a Republican, and then partly because I'm an economic conservative and I believe in balancing budgets. But then in my entire lifetime, the Republicans never balanced the budget. Never. And so I was a Republican I'm not a guy who's blanket anti-war. I was for the Persian Gulf War. And then we decided to invade Iraq that had nothing to do with 9/11. Well, I'm not for really, really stupid wars. And so, and then the Republican Party started doing torture. So I couldn't believe that this party that I thought was for American ideals and why we came to the country had abandoned all of that. So it turns out for the Republicans, it was a marketing slogan. And I came to find out for liberals and progressives, they actually mean it. And they want America to live up to that ideal. So that's what I love, and I want everybody to have that same equality of opportunity.
Cenk, Democrats and progressives, they're the only ones that want to live up to the ideals of this country? Really? That's where you're going to basically, try to thread that needle? Did you notice anything about World War I? World War II? Did you notice that when the world cries out for help, who is it that picks up the phone and answers it? Who is it that listens to the cries of the world? Yes, like I said before, every country has had its dark moments. Every country has committed sins. But the sins of the past, the sins of the fathers, the sins of the grandfathers do not reflect upon the sins. They don't go onto the sins of the sons, of their daughters, into the future. 1,000 years from now, are we still going to be talking about the sins of the United States of America and try to pin those sins onto those current generation 1,000 years from now? I mean, who does that? That's the thing that, in terms of all this here, when you start talking about this thing here, that just liberals and progressives, they really wanted to live up to the ideals of the United States of America. By golly, by Jiminy Crickets. They're the ones that are not the colonialists. They're not the imperialists. No, they're the saviors. They're the people that do it right. Well, what I'd like to know is the fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers of those liberals, those progressives, those Democrats, weren't they the ones that sort of, like all this stuff, this icky stuff that you're bringing up, isn't that what they were doing? So what are you talking about? Same thing can be said. I don't know if there's any Democrats or progressives or moderates or liberals or leftists that want to, do anything that's really, really good, for the country. I think they all do it for power or whatever, but so do the Republicans or whatever. Look, everybody's looking to get power. The difference is, what are you eventually trying to do, and do your policies work for the individual or do they work for the collective? Your side, Cenk, works for the collective as a group. The Republican side, or at least the conservative side, is looking at the individual rights. Anyways, we appreciate you watching. That was the first initial part one of this debate. Gave you a little sense of what both of these guys were about. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you like to, please, we'd really love for you to subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell. Like, share, and follow us. Put your comments down below. Let us know what you think. I'll leave you with my parting thought, which is, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.